if we went 0-2 right there, I may have just threw my phone against the wall and called it a day. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Ox here with another video. If you're new to the channel, we do upload Pokemon Go content mostly related to PvP, and if you're a returning subscriber like Ricardo Herman, thank you for the support. In today's video, we're taking a look at the team that got me to Legend Rank in Season 9 of Go Battle League in the Halloween Cup. Using this team, I was able to climb all the way up to 3097 elo before the queue time just got a bit too long for me, and I decided to just stop playing altogether. Every time I hit Legend Rank in a season, I decided to take a few days off from GBL just to reset the mind, get away from all of that tilt. And this season was definitely a very frustrating one, a very difficult grind to Legend. About 4 weeks ago now, we did reach 2950 in the Master League. I decided to try and run Reshiram. We tanked to 2750. We climbed back up to 2950 with a Reshiram team before having our worst day in GBL, losing 300 points in one day, and that brought us to 2650. From there, we bounced around a lot between 27 to 2900, but couldn't exactly find a team that worked for us until this one right here, which features two Pokemon that I did not expect to work as well as they did in this meta. The first Pokemon is the lead. Due to the nature of dark type Pokemon, I did not expect it to perform very well in this meta. However, what ended up happening is that there are a lot of steel types in the lead spot. Despite there not being too many steel types in general within this meta, there are a lot of them appearing in the lead, and Marowak seems to perform very well as a result of that trend. The second pick, which performed so well for me, is Alolan Muk. This is a Pokemon that I have not seen too often within this meta. I am running Poison Jab plus Acid Spray for a better matchup against the Azumarill. Won us a lot of games, and it applies a lot of pressure with that Acid Spray debuff. I think it's a very underrated pick for this meta. The third Pokemon is Dragalge. I said I wanted to hit Legend Rank with it, and of course it was mandatory that it appeared on the Legend push. So this is a very interesting team. It isn't going to work for everyone, and on PvPoke it does not have the best ratings, but it is important to remember that when running a team builder simulation on PvPoke, a lot of the Pokemon in those simulations actually won't be appearing in a lot of your matches, so you have to take that into consideration. If the team does not have any Ds or Fs, it usually still has a very strong chance of performing well within a given meta. If you guys enjoy this type of content, please make sure you smash that like button to help the channel grow. Leave a comment in the comment section down below, and without any further ado, let's jump into the first battle right now. Alright, so what you're going to notice in this first battle is that I'm actually running the wrong moveset on my Alolan Marowak. I have Fire Blast instead of Bone Club. I went in here with the wrong Alolan Marowak. Actually, I have a much higher ranked one with Bone Club Shadow Bone, but this is the one I was using in Open Great League just prior to this. And of course, Fire Blast is not the moveset you want to be running in the Halloween Cup meta, so definitely want Bone Club there. We see an Alolan Marowak lead here, and the opponent swaps out into Dragalge. So when they bring in the Dragalge here, makes me think that they're probably running a sort of ABB team that is going to have a similar weakness in the back, probably looking to lure out the steel type right here and then have their Alolan Marowak just farm us down, right? In this case, we don't have a steel type answer, so I come to Dragalge and they bring in their Zweilous here. Very good counting on their part to get the CMP tie right here. Body Slam going to take us out, and we'll come back in here with the Alolan Marowak. Now, Marowak doesn't have a good matchup here. I noticed not having Bone Club is a huge break for the opponent right here, because I'm pretty much forced to throw Shadow Bone, and we're not able to do that because they CMP tie on the Dark Pulse. I let it go through, and we're in a pretty difficult spot right now because of the wrong moveset. May have played a factor in this game. Definitely a huge break for the opponent there, but of course, very important to make sure you are running the right movesets before hopping into these battles. Bone Club comes through here. My only play at this point is to land the Dark Pulse, hope it goes unshielded by the opponent, but there's absolutely zero chance of that happening. And even if it did, I'm not even sure if we could farm down with Poison Jab against that Zweilous before the Dragon Breath takes care of us. So pretty safe win for the opponent at this point. We end up losing this first game, not having Bone Club. Definitely a bit of a factor there, but we might have ended up losing anyways there. Either way, it is what it is. We lose the first game, and we were at 29-38, so pretty much needed a 5-0 here to have any chance of reaching Legend Rank on this first set. 4-1 isn't going to cut it, but we're still going to try for the 4-1 here, and we see a very nice lead here in the form of a Shadow Scizor. Opponent swaps out to Crustle, and when I see them bringing in the Crustle here, I usually assume that it is going to be a team like Crustle plus Shadow Tyranitar in the back, two SmackDown users. So I actually try to call the X Scizor there, but it ends up being a Rock Slide, which is a huge mistake because now the opponent can actually take switch advantage here, and I can't get to the second Aqua Tail, which would have got me the 2 shield advantage. So things are looking very, very bad right here. I definitely want to shield this up, and it's only an X Scizor. Going to farm down with Poison Jab though, which is very nice, and we do have a lot of energy here. Opponent comes back in with the Scizor. Now, not a great matchup here for our Muk, but the Dark Pulse does still hurt quite a bit because Shadow Scizor is very, very glassy. And I swap out to Marowak, hoping to catch a potential X Scizor or something, but the opponent holds off, throws the Night Slash. I do shield it up. One Night Slash isn't actually going to KO, so we will survive this second one, hoping whatever is in the back is weak to this Marowak. It ends up being a Pinsir. I was expecting the Tyranitar, so I just threw the Bone Club immediately. Ends up being Shadow Pinsir, which is very, very spicy. And look at this. I over tap basically, which means that the opponent gets off a move before me, so I was mauling out of my mind right here, able to come into Muk and farm down at least, which means we will be able to get off this Dark Pulse here, but we almost ended up losing that game once again because of a misplay. And if we went 0-2 right there, I may have just threw my phone against the wall and called it a day, because that would have been 2 really rough losses to take there, basically on mistakes. So we're 1-1, very fortunate for it, and we see another Alolan Marowak here in the next battle. So a lot of Alolan Marowaks, as you see. Opponent swaps out into Umbreon. I come in with the Alolan Muk here. I feel Alolan Muk does have a bit of a safer matchup against the Umbreon than the Dragalge does, especially because sometimes they're running stuff like Psychic, and Dragalge does not want any of that. So going for the Acid Spray right here, this is going to lower the defense on the Umbreon. We will have to shield once here, but we should be in a very nice spot. Hopefully able to leave this matchup with some energy stored. The opponent is going to throw another move right here. Last Resort comes through. So I believe I will actually just shield this move here and commit to the complete farm down. We will be loaded on energy, which is very nice. The opponent does not go for the snipe there, so we will be able to get off a move right here to Scrafty in the back. So this Acid Spray definitely is going to be advantageous for us, and the Scrafty takes this out. So now I'll come back in here with the Alolan Marowak, and I'm going to throw the Bone Club here. I want to save the Dragalge for the opponent's Alolan Marowak in the back instead. They swap out into Marowak. I come to Dragalge. Now we are down a shield, so although this is a good matchup for Dragalge, we are not in the clear just yet. Going to go for the Aqua Tail right here. The opponent is going to throw a move, and I decide to no shield this just in case it is a Bone Club. It actually ends up being a Shadow Ball instead, so that's like the worst case scenario for us, the most heavy hitting move that the Marowak could have here. Aqua Tail comes through again, does get the second shield. I believe at this point we will shield this up, just go for the Aqua Tail, get rid of this Marowak as soon as we can. Able to do it just before they could swap out, and now we will swap into our Alolan Marowak. We are not in foul play range here, so we could definitely take one right here, at which point we will go for the Shadow Bone, and then the Fire Spins should be enough to win this game for us. So Shadow Bone coming through here. This will not kill the Scrafty, but we should be able to Fire Spin down before they get to another move. The defense drop definitely helps right there. We take that game off to a 2-1 start here. After a pretty shaky start with this team, we're bouncing back, and we're hoping to get that 4-1 set. Marowak into a Drapion. One of the more difficult leads for this team, Drapion or Azumarill, probably the 2 most challenging leads that I've seen with this team. The opponent's staying in here with the Drapion onto our Dragalge, gonna throw this Aqua Tail, they no shield, and they swap out into Mawile. The important thing here is that the switch timers are now desynced, so although we're not in a great spot right here, I am going to be able to swap out into the Alolan Marowak at some point, and this is only a Power Punch, so I'm not going to shield this for sure. And that's going to allow the switch timer to go up even more. Going to throw this Aqua Tail just to allow my switch timer to come back in. I want to swap out into the Alolan Marowak as soon as possible. We get a shield, which is insane. And now the opponent going to throw a move. Nothing is going to threaten the Marowak here, so I'm going to let this go through. Only a Power Punch, which is very nice. We farm it down. We have a shield advantage. Mandibuzz comes in, which isn't great. Wasn't expecting that, of course. Throw the Bone Club, doing nothing at all to the Mandibuzz. And just hoping to get off one Shadow Bone here. Hopefully we get the defense drop, but if not, doesn't really matter. This does some decent chip damage, and the Mandibuzz will take us out with one Foul Play. Looks like they did overfarm quite a bit here. Foul Play will be enough to take us out. I'm going to come in with the Alolan Muk. Still have 2 shields, so we're in a pretty good spot here. Don't need to shield anything from the Mandibuzz yet at this point. So Air Lace comes through, and I'm going to build up here. throw the acid spray if the opponent's counting. Of course, this cannot be a sludge wave, but they do shield, which is huge for us. Drapion comes back in, and we are going to shield the first move. It's only an Aqua Tail, so I swap out into the Dragalge here because this should only be another Aqua Tail, which isn't going to knock us out. That means we will be able to get to our own Aqua Tail, which will knock out the Drapion from this range. And now the Mandibuzz will get some farm on us, but these Dragon Tails are going to add up and basically put this Mandibuzz in the range where one acid spray will be enough to take it out. So we're going to be able to win this game right here with the bang acid spray KO. You love to see it. 3-1 heading into the 5th battle of this set. And this is where the money is earned in these clutch situations. 3-1, you really need to close out the 4-1. This is where the ELO points are made. Huge difference between 4-1 and 3-2 sets. And the opponent, pretty rough lead for us, swaps out into Qwilfish here to counter our Alolan Muk. And this is a pretty hard loss for Alolan Muk right here. You can pretty much only win this by getting a shield with the acid spray and then landing a Dark Pulse, which is never going to happen. So it's pretty much just a guaranteed loss here for the Alolan Muk. The Qwilfish, no reason to shield right here, going to let the Aqua Tail come through. I will come in with the Dragalge, look to farm down because they have been debuffed. And they come in with Wigglytuff. So again, another pretty challenging matchup here. I swap out into my Marowak with almost 100 energy on the Dragalge. I mean, it's not 100, it's like about 70, but the important thing here is that I want to have enough for a gunk shot more or less, so that if I can get these shields here from the Scrafty, I'll be able to one-shot that Wigglytuff in the back. And the opponent knows this, so now they're pretty much forced to try and preserve a shield here at this point. So we kind of have the advantage here despite not having the best alignment. So foul play comes through, I'm going to outpace here to the Bone Club. And now if they shield this, they realize that they're probably going to lose the game, so they're forced to let it go through. They come back in with the Wigglytuff here, saving their shield. I'm going to get off this Bone Club right here, and they have to throw energy because they cannot charm us down. And even when they throw here, there is a slight chance that we survive this. And if we do survive, that Fire Spin registers. 1 HP, we swap out into Dragalge. No point to go for Gunk Shot here. We need to get that shield. Aqua Tail is going to do quite a bit of damage here. And I'm hoping that I could just farm down with Dragon Tails before they can knock us out with Charm. And look at this, simultaneous KO. We take that game with the 1 HP Marowak hanging on in the back. 4-1 set right there. Not going to be enough for 62 points, but should put us in striking distance of legend rank 2981 heading into set number 2. So heading into set number 2, we are 19 points away from legend rank. A 3-2 probably will not be enough, so we need to go for another 4-1 or just get the 5-0 to clinch it. A lead like this is going to go a long way to helping with that. Cofagrigus safe switch though is pretty interesting, and I don't really have a good answer for it, so it's a pretty nice core breaker right here. I mean, I guess I could come in with the Alolan Muk, but again, actually maybe Alolan Muk makes more sense in hindsight. I don't know, it's a tough spot. I figured Dragalge at the moment was the better answer, but because the Alolan Muk is actually part dark type, that might have made more sense now in hindsight. So either way, I knew Dragalge in the 2 shields should be able to maintain switch here, and that was the most important thing. So I do shield the Psychic, we go down a shield, but we do have a very dominant matchup here against the Galvantula, and they're in a pretty tight spot here. So I go for the Aqua Tail. They can't farm us down, so they're going to be forced to throw energy, and they're literally at 1 HP. So right here, I'm going to come in with the Muk because I know they're going to swap immediately. So I get that energy lead here for whatever's in the back. Ends up being a Scrafty, which is not great for the Muk, but we are going to get off this acid spray right here. And the most important thing here, of course, is to just lower the defense to the point where Alolan Marowak can come in and farm it down with Fire Spin. They're going for the power up punches here, which makes sense because basically they want to get their Scrafty in a position where one foul play will knock out the Marowak. Unfortunately for them, they are going to have to shield this acid spray right here, and with the debuff to their defense, 2 Fire Spins enough to take them out. Galvantula in the back. They don't want the smoke. Ben Simmons, get on out of here. We take that game off to a 1-0 start. Can we keep the push going? Next battle, we got Alolan Marowak into a Shadow Scizor. With leads like this, things are going to be very, very promising. Azumarill, and here comes the Alolan Muk. So this is why I really like Alolan Muk. With that Poison Jab Acid Spray combo, applies a lot of pressure to Azumarill. The move coming through here not going to shield this, but Azumarill I believe can win in the zero shield. So I'm going to build up here. I go for the Acid Spray, actually hoping that this will be enough to KO from this range, and it actually is. So that is very, very nice for us. Shadow Scizor comes back in. I'm not able to get to the Acid Spray, which isn't great, and I come in with the Marowak. Now we can survive one Night Slash, and don't shield the first one in case they do get the boost. Umbreon in the back, so this is the Scizor, Azumarill, Umbreon team, and I come in with Dragalge here. So Dragalge versus Umbreon, in case it is psychic, I have to respect it. We got burned by it in the last video, so I did learn my lesson. Going for the Aqua Tail right here, and the opponent is going to shield that up. And I think in this matchup, you just want to go straight Aqua Tail considering the shields. If it's different, then yes, you do want to go for a Gunk Shot, but because they pretty much need to keep this Umbreon alive at this point, they're going to be shielding up. So I do let this go through right here, and I do throw the Aqua Tail, but they make a great swap into Scizor, but this swap actually will allow my Marowak to come in and farm it down before they can get to another move. So that's actually very nice for us. The Umbreon comes back in. We have quite a bit of energy here, and Bone Club plus some Fire Spins should be enough to take this game at this point. Another Bone Club coming through here will not KO, but we could shield up this foul play, and another Fire Spin should be enough to take out the Umbreon right here. We're going to win this game and get off to a 2-0 start here in this set. 2 more wins should be enough to clinch the legend rank, but we'll see how it goes. Next battle, we got Alolan Marowak into a Drapion. So again, one of the more difficult leads for this team. We managed to pull off a win in the previous battle. Come into Dragalge again this time. Opponent comes in with a Azumarill. So we do have an energy lead right here, which is definitely going to be an advantage for us, but it's still a pretty dominant matchup for the Azumarill. So pretty much need to land a Gunk Shot here in order to have any chance of winning this game. I go for the Gunk Shot because sometimes they don't expect it. Could be Outrage plus Aqua Tail. They do shield, but because I let that second Ice Beam go through, there's no way I could get to 3 moves here. So I'm going to shield this up knowing I can get to the Gunk Shot. This will force the second shield, but I am guaranteed to lose switch advantage here at this point. So I decide to just go for the shield advantage instead. We get farmed down there by the Bubbles, and the Azumarill comes back in. Going to let this move go through here. It's like play rough. And the unfortunate part here is that we actually show our third Pokemon before the opponent gets to show their third. So now they know what all 3 of our Pokemon are. They are going to be able to use that to their advantage and get the alignment they want as a result. So I swap out into the Marowak right here, force to shield up this Crunch because it is going to hurt. And then I'm going to land the Bone Club here. Could have maybe farmed one more, but it is going to get a little close right there. So I just throw the Bone Club here. Wasn't counting the moves. Opponent comes in with Azumarill. I need this Shadow Bone to KO. None of these moves from Azumarill are going to threaten unless it's Hydro Pump. It's only a play rough. I'm going to overfarm quite a bit, and I'm hoping that this Shadow Bone will be enough to take out the Azumarill from this range. I really need it to be. Unfortunately, it is not. So it's a Dragalge in the back, going for the Shadow Bone right here. This is not going to be enough. I'm going to swap out into the Alolan Muk here because if I do have a Dark Pulse, they are going to be threatened, so they are going to dump their energy here. But unfortunately, my Marowak is way too low in health at this point to get to a Bone Club, so we are going to lose this game quite convincingly, actually. A pretty rough team comp there, but I mean, that's how a lot of these games are going, right? The games we're winning, we're hard countering the opponent pretty hard. The games we're losing, getting hard counters. So it is what it is. Speaking of hard counters, Alolan Marowak into Shadow Mawile right here. You'll love to see it. A lot of very dominant lead spots right here. Another Azumarill coming in right here. So I'm going to come in with the Muk. Going to let the first move go through as always. Ice Beam coming through. And I'm going for the Acid Spray right here. And the opponent actually shields, which was very surprising. So now we are going to, of course, be forced to shield. This Acid Spray will not KO. And I guess you could have made the argument that I shouldn't have even thrown that. I should have just shielded this move, committed to the farm, not had a bunch of energy stored. In hindsight, that would make a lot more sense because I would have a lot more energy stored on this Alolan Muk, but it is what it is. Mawile comes back in, going to go for the Dark Pulse right here. It is an Ice Fang. Mawile, which is actually quite spicy. Shadow Mawile taking a lot of damage right there, does farm us down. Come in with the Marowak, they swap out into Jellicent. At this point I want to get off this Shadow Bone here because I want to either get big damage or the final shield from the opponent. We do get the shield. I swap out into Dragalge right here, and I'm going to let the first move go through. It's only a Shadow Ball, which is, I mean, better than Ice Beam, I guess. But it tells me that they're probably running Bubble Beam plus Shadow Ball, right? Because they would have probably went for Ice Beam there against the Dragalge. Aqua Tail comes through. The opponent's going to allow us to get to another Aqua Tail right here. And we'll see what the opponent's going to do. They're actually going for a very aggressive, I'm not sure, but they don't want the smoke, so they're going to back out of that match. We take the game right there. Probably building up to 2 moves, pretty much their only win con. Needed a Shadow Ball for the Marowak, as well as knocking out the Dragalge right there. So Wormadam trash in the final battle. We are 3-1. Beautiful lead. Very dominant leads right here. Opponent swaps out into a Wigglytuff, so you already know what's coming in. Alolan Muk. Not going to need to shield anything here because the Wigglytuff is not going to get to a Charger. So we're going to throw the Acid Spray. This is going to be enough to farm down the Wigglytuff. And now the Wormadam trash will likely come back in. It's probably a double charm team. So I'm going to go for the Acid Spray right here. I want to lower the defense. And I'm hoping because they are running Confusion, they try committing to a farm down. And if we get to this Dark Pulse, you're going to see some pretty heavy damage right here. Dark Pulse. Bang! There it is. And it's a simultaneous knockout right there. Definitely a charm in the back. You already know the slogan. They don't want the smoke. 4-in-1 set right there. This is definitely going to be enough for 19 points. At least we would hope, and get to Legend rank. So that was the team that we used to reach Legend rank in Season 9 of Go Battle League in the Halloween Cup. A team that I did not expect to have much play at the start of the meta with both Alolan Marowak and Alolan Muk, but it turns out both of these Pokemon actually have a lot of play in the current state of the meta. I would definitely recommend this team for anyone looking to make a final push for Legend rank in this final week of the Halloween Cup. This season has been an absolute grind to reach Legend rank, so many ups and downs throughout, and the competition is getting more fierce with each and every season. Every player is improving. It's becoming a lot more difficult to reach Legend rank as a result. With that said, I think the best advice I could give is to spend a lot of time on PvPoke, running simulations, trying out different team comps, and countering the meta that you are personally seeing yourself. Some teams may work for you, some teams may not, but whatever you are seeing the most in the meta is what you should be building around. Although it is more challenging each and every season, Legend rank does not come easy, and with the hard work and determination, you will definitely get there and exceed the goals you set for yourself. If you guys enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like, commenting, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.